That's right. That's right. We are live. Welcome to Matrix University Live. We've got the usual suspects, our resident advisor Vesuvius MXO and our resident MXO hacker Scion. Let me tweet this out to the Twitter Matrix and let everyone know that we're here. I'm really good about forgetting to do that, but I just did it, so that's done. Here we go. Let's start this show. Um, Before we get started, I want to give everybody an opportunity to pile on in the room here. Make sure that you like and, more importantly, double check and make sure you're still subscribed. We're going to get into the whole YouTube Matrix subscriber madness later because I've definitely been watching that like a hawk since the last live stream, and there's definitely some back end shenanigans, but yeah, okay. Vesuvius, hold on one second here. Well, yeah, Vesuvius, you go ahead and say hello to the class while I get this situated here.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. It's good to be back. We got a couple of topics we're going to talk about, and we have a little special guest as well.
Yeah, a couple things have happened since the last live stream. This is kind of more, I guess, a freestyled summer update, if you will. Just trying to discuss the little bits of Matrix news crumbs that we get. This is kind of like one a week right now, somewhere in there. But unfortunately, last week we did get some sad news that sort of shook the Matrix community. On July 27th, actress Mary Alice unfortunately passed away. So that was some sad news that came to us last week, and she passed away at the age of 85. So she lived a full life and had a wonderful career. We know her as the second Oracle from Revolutions, and she also voiced the Oracle in the not the Animatrix, the Matrix Online, as you can see on the screen. She's there in the beer court, joining us here. Oh, look, she just stood up there. Hello, Miss Oracle.
As well as
hello there. You're right on time. Here we are. I've been expecting you.
You're going to say Vesuvius before the Oracle spoke there?
Yeah, Mary Alice also appeared as the Oracle in Enter the Matrix. And if you weren't privy to, if you weren't privy to the things that were going on behind the scenes, then that could have been your first interaction with Mary Alice as the Oracle.
As the Oracle, for sure. And it's interesting because, like, literally the day before she passed, we were talking in the Matrix emulator Discord about the different actors who had a whatever that licensing conflict was, like how there was a different voice actor for Ghost in the Matrix Online, and Niobe was voiced by Gina Torres. So it's interesting that you bring that up, because what you're saying, or reminding me rather, is that Mary Alice was in Enter the Matrix. So apparently there was no conflict with her, but that might have been because at the time that they did Enter the Matrix, she wasn't in Reloaded, maybe? I don't know. I don't know the contractual language there, or what the licensing of likeness issue was, as far as, like I said, contract wise. But that's interesting that she was actually in both, but Jada Pinkett did not voice Niobe, and the actor that played Ghost did not voice him in the Matrix Online. His name is escaping me right now.
Ghost's name?
Yes.
I want to say it was Harold Chong.
Nope. Harold is Link. We'd have to look it up.
Yeah, I'm Googling it.
So while you're looking for Ghost's actual name, I actually did meet Mary Alice once, but I was
Anthony Wong.
I knew something with the A. So yeah, Anthony Wong was not able to voice ghost for the Matrix Online due to I believe, some type of likeness dispute or something. And that's what we were talking about in the emulator, just trying to remember the details of the story because it's very vague online now. It's almost like the details were kind of scrubbed, but it was a long time ago. It wasn't a major story. I only knew about it because of the Matrix Online community. Um, but yeah, I was saying I did actually meet Mary Alice, but I was really young. I mean, I was maybe like 10 or 11, somewhere in there. She was in a play. Um, but from whatever, from what, how it is when you're a kid, or I feel like children, it's like the sixth sense, how he could like see dead people, right? They've got that natural instinct to just kind of pick up on vibes. And her energy was definitely very lovely. Um, she definitely seemed like a very nice woman. She's very, very polite, very humble. And from what I remember, she was a pleasure to work with. From what I heard, other actors saying about working with her, so it was definitely a loss to the Matrix community. So yeah, we just wanted to, pay a little tribute to her, and send our condolences to her family, her loved ones, her friends. Um, and yeah, and unfortunately, another sad piece of that story is now, both oracles, she came into the Matrix franchise because the original actress Gloria Foster passed away in between the shooting of Reloaded and Revolution. So we've lost both oracles in the real world here. um and to quote the oracle, it seems like every time we meet, I've got nothing but bad news. So I'm sorry for that. But
It's nice to see you again. Looking good.
thank you. No, I appreciate your kind words. Right, but for what it's worth, the next point is going to kind of lead us into the title. I put a question mark. The question mark is more for the Animatrix 2.0, but Batgirl we're pretty certain about. But yeah, there's some. It looks like there's been a change of the guard over at HBO Max, and so I guess should we start with Batgirl or should we start with Animatrix 2.0? Because the connection is, I have to connect why I'm talking about both of them. So we got to start with one or the other. What do you think?
Yeah, let's start with Batgirl, and then we can
What do
kind
you
of
think?
shift over to the Matrix.
Circle back. Yeah. Okay. So I guess Oracle, we think we're going to start with Batgirl. And I,
That's really up to you.
Yeah, no, well, I left it up to Vesuvius, but that's fine. Tomato, tomato. With Batgirl, I haven't been following, the news or the production of the movie. I mean, I heard about it, and what piqued my interest was that I heard that Michael Keaton was supposed to be playing Batman, and that's my favorite actor as far as the Batman roles go. But yeah, I guess yesterday the news broke, or let me pull up the Variety article if I can find it.
Do you think that's a good idea?
It's probably not, but we're gonna do it anyway. Um,
I think she meant about the casting of Michael Keaton. She thinks that's a good idea. Wants something you think that's a good idea.
Wait. The casting of Michael Keaton. I thought it was a good idea. Apparently, somebody disagreed with that decision. Okay, that's a joke, though. That wasn't the real reason why this thing is on the shelf. I'm looking for the article now. And shout out to everybody who's in the room. I just saw the chat going on here. Like I said, this is a freestyle. Shout out to David Ratcliffe. Shout out to Joker, who was first, by the way. He says almost all DC shows are shelved. Shaking my head feels bad. Yeah, man. This news kind of rocked the entertainment industry yesterday. So here we go. My screen's not being shared here. There we go. So headline: Why Warner Brothers killed Batgirl inside the decision not to release the DC movie. Over here we've got HBO Max quietly removed 6 Warner Brothers streaming exclusive movies. So they're pulling movies. What's this headline? Speculation is on fire around HBO Max's future, planned layoffs and major streaming shakeup. So yeah, there's stuff going on over there. Now I'm gonna jump to the Batgirl article because the actress that's playing her is in the thumbnail. I'm not remembering her name off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's in this article somewhere. Um, but here's the meat and potatoes of what I thought was relevant to the Matrix community. Here it says several sources note that Batgirl was made under a different regime at Warner Brothers. And that's what I was referring to about a changing of the guard. At the time, it was headed by Jason Kilar and Ann Sarnoff, that was singularly focused on building its streaming service, HBO Max. Now, we've definitely talked about that in previous live streams, and I feel very vindicated reading that. Moving along, it says that effort included Kilar's infamous decision to release the studio's entire 2021 theatrical slate simultaneously on the streamer, which helped build the subscriber base, but also jeopardized the studio's reputation with top-tier talent. Though many agents and stars privately came to appreciate the move when the company paid generous bonuses as to make nice. Now, that would be the Village Roadshow versus Warner live stream thumbnail with Wonder Woman on it. Now, in that live stream, we discussed that Gal Gadot, the lead actress in Wonder Woman 1984, and I believe the producer or director, probably the director. But yeah, when they're talking about making nice, I'm pretty sure that's who they're referencing because they got, I think it was like an extra 2 million or something like that. I don't know if that's how it played out for Keanu Reeves and the Matrix cast because of the simultaneous release. I'm not sure, but we know that the Wonder Woman 1984 crew made out well. Also, they had a streaming only release. They weren't simultaneous either. They had no theatrical release, so that might have played a part there. The article goes on to say even before David Zaslav took the reins of the newly formed Warner Brothers Discovery as CEO this spring. So, this changing has happened very recently. The exec went on a well-publicized listening tour designed to repair the community's relationship with the creative community. As part of that effort, Zaslav has made no secret of reversing Kilar's strategy and committing to releasing first-run feature films in theaters before putting them on HBO Max. So, like I said, here I feel like, kind of validated with what I thought the clues were telling us about how everything went down with the streaming versus the HBO Max simultaneous theatrical release stuff. And yeah, man, it looks like the new leadership is committed to theatrical releases, which that's easy to say now post-pandemic, right? I mean, if we're even post-pandemic, but you know what I'm trying to say. We're in a situation now where people are going back to the theater. This time last year that wasn't an option for everybody, so that's part of it, right? But V, did you have any thoughts on this whole Batgirl thing before I start tying in John Gaeta?
Well, it hurts a little bit because, coming up, I collected and read comics, and I preferred DC over Marvel. And I was a big Batman and Robin fan, and, I got hundreds of Batman and Robin comics. And it just is a little bothersome to see like there's 70 or maybe going on 80 years of story for these characters, and we just can't catch up to Marvel on their worst day as far as feature films. We've had some good ones, but they are I can't help but compare to Marvel. They're kicking ass, and DC is fumbling, and they can't make a complete play at this point. It's bothersome. I was looking forward to like more of that Bat family up on the big screen, and looks like we're gonna have to wait, and I think we're gonna have to wait a long time.
Oh man, the Waitrix is in full effect. And it's funny that you said that because I mean I liked Batman a lot when I was a kid, but comic book wise, I definitely had way more Marvel stuff. And like I said earlier, the Michael Keaton version of Batman was my favorite Batman. But one more thing that I wanted to touch on in this article before we start connecting more of the dots here is because I know a lot of times people don't get past the headline, right? But people were talking about why it was shelved, and here in the comments, what I see, Joker said, I heard 90 million spent on Batgirl. I heard the same number. He said, but the acting was just that bad. Obviously I didn't see a screening of it or anything like that. And like I said, I wasn't following this story all the way through its production schedule. But here in this Variety article, it says, or at least their leading theory behind the reasoning for this move is, it says, releasing the movie on HBO Max would seem to be the most obvious solution. Instead, the company has shelved Batgirl along with the Scoob sequel, and several sources say it will almost certainly take a tax write down on both films, seen internally as the most financially sound way to recoup the costs, at least on an accountant's ledger. It could justify that by chalking it up to a post-merge change of strategy. So what they're saying here is the most likely reason that these movies are being shelved is because with the merger, there is now a special circumstance where WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, can write off these movie budgets as a loss. And if they were to release them on HBO Max, they would be unable to do that. If they were to release them in the theater, they'd make the box office profit, once again, would be unable to do that. So, at this point, if they're going to release it in the theater, they have to know it's going to be a home run, more or less. And for whatever reason, they're not confident that that's the case. At least that's the speculation for the reasoning behind it. The odd one says that the test audience were okay with Batgirl and praising Brendan Fraser. I mean, I like I said, her name is escaping me. See if I can find it here. There you go. Leslie Grace was going to play Batgirl. But I like Michael Keaton and I like Brendan Fraser, excuse me. Right, and J.K. Simmons would have played Commissioner Gordon. So, I didn't have a problem with the cast. I thought that they had some, pretty polished actors here, at least in these supporting roles. But again, it says, according to sources with knowledge of the situation, the most likely reason, taxes. So, it seems like that's the reasoning for it. But like I said, when you then factor in the other movies removed probably for the same reason, and then these potential layoffs here that could be coming, it seems like like I said, that there's just a change of the guard, and old projects or projects from the old regime are not necessarily going to be finished projects in the new regime. And we got to wonder where Matrix stuff falls into that. I mean, obviously we know that it was anything that was discussed was old regime, but right after our last live stream, I don't remember exactly how it came up, but I was looking for some Animatrix 2.0 nuggets or any type of evidence trails, and someone posted that John Gaeta had removed the Animatrix 2.0 from his LinkedIn profile. If I can find it here, I do have a screenshot for you guys. I like to draw up the receipts when possible. Right, so here we go. So you can see the Matrix Awakens here. And prior, there was an Animatrix 2.0 little summary here, and now it's gone. It jumps right to his next project. So, and in our last live stream, we talked about the delisting of The Matrix Awakens. And actually, I did find, it's funny, while I was looking for a picture of Gata for the thumbnail for tonight's live, I actually stumbled upon an interview from back in February that I had never saw before. Like I was talking in the pre-show, February is after Resurrections came out. So not only was I not checking, like all the hashtags for Matrix stuff every day, but people weren't sending me as much stuff anymore. So it just slipped through the cracks. He wasn't talking specifically about Matrix, but I did want to play a quick audio clip of him talking about The Matrix Awakens real quick here. Let me pause the music.
Sure. I mean, then it would be good to put a little context behind it. And I would guess if you talk to Kim about it, you might know this context, but I'll reiterate it for this podcast. So when we were making the Matrix trilogy, it was obviously had resonance well beyond just visual effects technique. It was much more impactful with regard to some of the concepts underlying, and in particular, there were aside from folks who were obviously triggered in a way to think existentially about what is real. There were other people who were even at that time imagining a long road towards creating the capacity to run massive simulations, massive, flawlessly real simulations that people could live within, play within, tell stories within. And so those sorts of folks, there were many interesting folks that found us that had nothing to do with the film business. Many people in different technologies and artists and writers, scientists, engineers. There was a person who was very significant, though, in the game industry that found us, the inventor of the PlayStation, Ken Kutaragi. And we wound up, the Wachowskis and Kim and I, wound up having a number of good long conversations over very nice meals to talk about the future. And, as you can imagine, he had a lot of thoughts about that. And in fact, went on to describe in great detail, in a very prescient way, the coming of the cloud, basically, the ability to serve, unlimited, high bandwidth, exquisite content, not from your machine, but from somewhere else. And so, anyway, this led to, a good relationship, and he let us in on this experiment where he was going to try to create this giant PlayStation-based parallel processing computer. He was going to I think he was going to band together 16 PlayStations to, provide the compute to run a new kind of real-time simulation. And that's kind of the beginning. He's like, I would like you guys to get involved and think about something you might want to do with that capability. And it is interesting, to bring up that test relative to today, because Awakens, I think I get why you're asked that, because Awakens, in a sense, is a dot connect back to this demonstration we did in 2000. And that demonstration was not a lot different. It was essentially a sort of a premise of creating dramatic content that could be used, in and of itself, as a experience, but also could be used to help understand how to stage story and cinematic scenes using game engines. It was both, really. And the future idea at the time was that, well, in the future, this will be something that everybody does, and people will be in world doing things like this, being involved with other characters and with each other. Those were the underlying themes, and we made it, a sort of a fantasy Matrix scene. Trinity being chased on the rooftops of a major city. And oddly, here we are. We're almost 20 years later, and never expected Matrix to return because of what we thought was conclusiveness of the trilogy.
Yeah.
And then we realized that our colleagues, the Wachowskis, wanted to tell another story, and so Kim and I tried to understand, well, what would be our place in this new thing, because it's so many years later and we're doing many different things, and not often cinema directly, like going out and doing shoots. So this is what we arrived at as the right way to participate in resurrecting the Matrix.
But I don't need second sight to know why you're here. What comes now?
Laz, your mic?
There we go. I'm off mute. Thank you. So all of that was to say from John Gaeta. He basically described the genesis, or how the development of the Matrix Awakens demo came about. But if you notice, he didn't mention or say anything about it being developed into an actual game. So when you factor that with the Matrix Awakens being delisted, I do recall asking in the last live stream, is that good for us or bad for us? So when you look at it, independently in a vacuum, because it wasn't designed to be a full video game, we could say, oh, well, it being delisted is, not necessarily bad for us. And in fact, after that live stream, a reliable source did verify that it was never intended to be developed into a full game, that it was, just the demo. They were just building the demo. And that's what John Gaeta described in that audio clip. And like I said, I found that looking for a picture of him. So I'll try to edit that up for the Matrix related stuff and post that to the channel. So you guys can check it out for yourselves in the future. But right, going back to the Matrix Awakens scenario. So if you look at them in a vacuum or independently, okay, no big deal. But when you factor in that, okay, our last live stream was what, 3 weeks ago? That's when it got delisted, right? And then since then, right, but since then, not only was the Matrix Awakens delisted, but then John Gaeta removes Animatrix 2.0 from his LinkedIn. Okay, and now this week, they're talking about HBO Max is pulling all these films and trying to save money. Layoffs are coming. They need tax breaks. I mean, it's just I mean, I get it. A lot of markets are bad right now. uh it's not just the crypto space, it's stocks. The recession is real, in my opinion. I mean, I know people are saying it's not, but based on everything I'm looking at, it looks like we are here right now. And then in specific to Matrix, and specific to Animatrix 2.0, and specific to a video game, everything I just said, then you throw the lawsuit on top of that. And yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a while before we get anything new official Matrix outside of the Matrix NFT project. They've got some stuff going there, or we'll get to some of that later. But before I forget, while you guys are here, make sure that double check and make sure that you are still subscribed. Like I said, other content creators have been saying the same thing, that people are hitting them up and saying, hey, I didn't unsubscribe from you, but it says I'm unsubscribed and I don't know why. It's like, well, YouTube is just being YouTube. So if you guys could double check, that'd be great. Also, while we're here, we still need, I think, 51 more subs to hit 6K. And
Please.
I missed that, Oracle. What'd you say?
Please.
Well, yes, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have, double check and make sure that you are subscribed. Also, there's a contest up on the community tab of the YouTube channel, so check that out. I know Temet is in there. He's one of the winners from the last round of giveaways. So with this one, it's not like if you already own, you can still participate. So the all the rules and hoops to jump are posted there on the community tab. So check that out. Win a free NFT. Right. So V, did you have any notes or thoughts coming off of hearing Gata's description of the development and why they made the Matrix Awakens?
Not really. I actually thought it was kind of vague, and I thought what he was getting at was more of like online gaming, like in retrospect. So I don't think I'll probably have to listen to it again with the Matrix Awakens more in mind to maybe make some sense out of his words.
Yeah, in fairness, right, because he rolled it back to 2000 conversations, so, and we had the Matrix Online and video games, Matrix games since then. But I also got this kind of like, I don't want to say metaverse because I feel like that word's like overused, but I feel like he was describing almost kind of like this real time using 3D animation as film, if that makes sense. Like this, going beyond bullet time and talking about it, or developing a situation where you can basically record CG animate, or rather CG cinema in real time, instead of developing it, basically like how we would play the Matrix Online and use that as footage kind of thing. It's kind of interesting when I'm, like I said, I'm gonna try to edit that for the Matrix related content, because like the whole interview is over an hour and 10 minutes, but he probably talked about Matrix related stuff for like 25 or 30. So I'm gonna try to edit that down and post that just so you guys can give it a listen on your own and check that out. But the long and short of it, the cliff notes is that it was always designed to just be the demo. They hadn't, or they didn't have plans of the Matrix Awakens being developed into a full game. And like I said, since that last live stream, I spoke to someone a reliable source who verified that information, that it wasn't meant or originally designed to be expanded into a full video game. That it was exactly a demo. That was just it. So I briefly mentioned um that they're rolling some stuff out. There was that whole Ethereum announcement. I think that was like a couple days ago. As far as the Matrix NFTs are concerned. Now I'm not a super technical guy. Um, as far as like NFT platforms go, let me just pull up the article here. Were you able to make sense of that announcement, V?
Well, isn't it just that it's going to be transferable on the Ethereum network?
Right. It's like the OpenSea thing, but Ethereum, and Ethereum is a larger, it was more mainstream, I suppose.
Yeah, I figured it's just a little more versatility and a lot more exposure.
Okay, I have it here. Right. So it says, oh, this is the tweet. But if we look here, right, and it says Nifty takes NFT communities multi-chain with Ethereum and Palm. So right now our NFTs are on the Palm network. So they're going to remain there. But as Vesuvius pointed out, you would be able to. Well, here's how it works. Starting this September, brands and creators who choose to launch or manage their project with Nifties will now have the option to mint different types of NFTs on Ethereum and Palm, and then have those NFTs interoperate across chains, all without sacrificing user experience. So, my interpretation of that is that moving forward, the NFTs from Nifties will be accessible on the Palm network and Ethereum. But if I had to guess, because we minted last year, that if we wanted our NFTs to be on Ethereum, we'd have to do like the bridge, the same way that you would have to do the bridge to OpenSea. And I don't know how to do any of that. So I'm not even going to try or attempt. I'm fine with it being on Palm. I feel like it's safe there. Not that it wouldn't be safe on Ethereum, but like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm not trying to lose my NFTs to the cryptosphere, messing around, trying to be cute, porting stuff to other networks when they're fine where they are for me. But I do hope that you're right, Vesuvius. I do hope that it will bring more eyes and attention to the project. I think that is the design, for them, is to, like I said, get more exposure, and, owners would be able to trade and sell to a larger pool of potential NFT owners.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I will be able to purchase through Nifty's from where I'm at in New York, which last I tried I could not do that, and also transferring cryptocurrency and the NFT without those fees or with lesser fees.
So that's what I've been meaning to ask you. Have you tried from mobile yet?
I have. I even tried with
wow.
with my VPN on and still unsuccessful.
Wow, that's crazy, bro. All right.
But I had already tried without the VPN. I did have to enter an address, but I just tried to fudge an address, and later on, and it still wouldn't let me because my device had already been, I guess, registered. I don't know. I don't know the nitty gritty of it, but I had already tried from the device and entered a New York address, and then it wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let me fudge it after that.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's so. Let's move on to the next thing. On Twitter, you asked a rather engaging question: Is the poll still alive? The poll is still up, right?
I think it is probably until tomorrow morning or something.
So I'm gonna pull that up here, but while I'm pulling up the tweet, what inspired you to ask that question? That's what I was really curious about.
Boy, nothing profound. I think I was just thinking about it and figured, hey, this will be a good discussion if people engage. think the last time I was talking about this, I have that theory that we are still in. Well, the end of Revolutions occurs in still the 6th version of the Matrix, as opposed to the Matrix having been reloaded to a 7th version, and that's where Sati met with the Oracle and the architect there. So I think it's just the notion that Neo did not go to the source. He never went to the source, and some retort that I've gotten back was, oh, he did go to the source. He went in the Machine City. So I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. I can see that. But I'm not really convinced. I'm open to it, but that's just not what I saw happen. And I thought it would just make a cool discussion.
Yeah, so if you guys aren't following Vesuvius on Twitter, he's at Vesuvius MXO, and I have the tweet up right now, and it says, "In the Matrix universe, what is the source?" And your choices are location in Machine City, construct in the Matrix, or other. Describe. So of course I hit other, and I said first I quoted the Oracle. So yeah, I don't think she's gonna say that for us today. But in Revolutions, the Oracle tells us the source. That's what you felt when you touched those Sentinels. So my answer to Vesuvius's question is the source is the energy that flows through the machines generated by the human batteries, or for lack of a better phrase, the Holy Spirit of the machine. So yeah, so when you said it was interesting to me. Shout out to Matrix Remixed. I see you there in the chat. When you said it, when I saw the question, that's why I asked what the inspiration for the question was, because I noticed that like you only had location options. And yeah, if there was no other and I was forced to pick out of just those two choices and it had to be a location as the answer, I would pick the Machine City over a construct. But yeah, for me, I went into what I would consider an in-depth description of my idea in the Holy Trinity video here on this channel. I would love to be able to find the thumbnail art for that, but I didn't think of it before pre-show.
Anyone can change their mind, even an oracle.
So I guess what's funny, well, I guess that means you saying that makes me think that's my cue to like dig up the actual thumbnail art. I'm trying to figure out like what would be the most effective way to do that with how we're set up right now, because this is a freestyle and I'm totally not prepared for that. But I think since you said it that way to me, that I'm gonna have to find a way. What do you think? Is that
sounds like you found your purpose? What's funny?
I appreciate you. I'm having a good time with you joining us. That's what's funny here.
It's nice to see you again. Looking good.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. You look wonderful yourself. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try to dig up the.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm gonna try to dig up the original. She's got it all, huh? Oh, boo. Where are you?
You want to know the future of the Matrix? You tell me.
No, you tell us. We want to know. That's exactly what we want to know. We want to know the future of the Matrix right now, because things are looking so bleak.
Future? It's not afraid of you. The future doesn't care about you, but you better care about it.
Yes, we definitely care. No, I wouldn't say that I'm afraid. I to quote Morpheus, I see this as an opportunity for Matrix fans to band together and get something going here.
Now you're getting it.
Okay, so this is going to be the easiest way for me to pull this up. If I can share my screen real quick here.
This is it. We're here.
Okay, right. So as you can see, this is the thumbnail art for the Holy Trinity video, and really cool artist from Twitter actually did this. It's one of my favorite thumbnails. But as you can see here, it's playing off of the Holy Trinity diagram in Christian theology. But I do believe that there's a lot of references in the Matrix to different theologies, and I thought that this was relevant towards the relationship of the Oracle and the architect with Neo. So here you have the source in the center, and it says the architect is the source, the Oracle is the source, Neo is the source. Neo is not the Oracle is not the architect, and the architect is not Neo. In Christianity, excuse me, you have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So in Vesuvius's tweet here, right, we have or rather my answer to the tweet, I said, for lack of a better phrase, the Holy Spirit of the machine, and our guest is none other than the Oracle herself. So
Now you're getting it.
yeah, it's all coming together, right? It's like magic. But yeah, the idea is that one of the reasons why Neo has the direct connection to the source is that, or one of the, I guess, theories, if you will, or ideas that I've always had, not always, but that I've come to understand about Neo, is that he is like this manifestation of choice, but it's a manifestation of choice of the entire human population, and that same human population are the batteries that power the source. So in a way, like she said, his power comes from the source, and in a way, that is his power is having been born out of this manifestation, or this evolution of choice, but from the entire human race.
You have two choices: faith or fear. No matter what side you choose, someone wants to control you. Your future depends on a lot of things, but mostly on you. Your path goes as far as your courage to walk it.
Well, speaking of, I'm sorry, what'd you say, V?
Wise words.
The Oracle always has wisdom for us, but she brings up a great point. One of the things thank you. One of the things that I wanted to touch on, I did mention that there is the contest on the community tab, right? But I don't know if we mentioned the whole 6K thing in the last live stream, but one of the reasons why in the last live stream we said that we're going to unlock the simulation theory cinematic at 6K is because of that whole YouTube thing. So I did some research, because what's crazy is usually on YouTube, when something, you search for it and like a whole bunch of videos come up, right? Well, with this issue, I had to dig like really, really deep. And what it looks like is what's happening is this whole YouTube claims that since the new year, they're trying to, I guess, clean up the spam bots. So, what they say is happening is that when you're losing subscribers like that, it's deleting spam accounts. But a couple things. One, it's like very, like the numbers that you lose are it's very methodical. It's hard to explain. You have to watch it really closely. And then that's the other side of the coin. Only small YouTubers notice, because if somebody with a big channel, the numbers are too small for them to notice. They're not going to care. But the smaller YouTubers notice. So I'm trying to get the subscriber count out of this like purgatory that it's in. It's like when we gain 10 followers, we lose 5. It's like I said, it's very systemic. So the plan is that when we go on a run and hit this 6K, that hopefully it'll break the channel out of this whatever YouTube label that I've got, because like I said, on YouTube's end, what they are trying to eliminate is sub for sub. Like when you're on Twitter or here on YouTube and people say, oh well, if you subscribe to me, I'll subscribe to you and we'll help each other meet 1,000 followers that way, or whatever. So they're trying to minimize that, which I don't see what's wrong with that, honestly. But that's the idea, is that I guess for whatever reason this channel YouTube assumes is doing that, and it's not. So I was hoping that by hitting the 6K in a quick run, it would kind of free the channel from whatever's going on in the back end. And after the last live, we went on a little run, and it was finally gaining followers instead of just staying at the same subscriber count. But then, the other side of that coin is it's been 3 weeks since the last live. So after 2 weeks, it kind of like defaulted the channel back into that, and it started losing subscribers again. So that's kind of the idea of the whole 6K goal. But one way or the other, we will get there, and we will share simulation theory, which I'm still excited to share with you guys. Trying to look at my notes here, just make sure we covered everything, because we are approaching the 1 hour mark. Oh, right. So I posted a tweet, and here it is. I'm going to share my screen here. It says, right, and I tagged at the Matrix movie. Have you noticed it is still trendy to use the word Matrix for any and everything that has nothing to do with the movie itself, but considered uncool to like the movies that woke masses of people up in the first place? Make it make sense / and rant. So I know some people were asking me like, what was that about? What's going on there? So basically, like I just explained to you guys, I'm trying to get the channel out of whatever this YouTube subscriber count purgatory is. And so I was going back to my old, technique of getting my hands dirty and, checking Matrix videos out, other people's Matrix videos, and, just kind of engaging in the comment section, because sometimes you gain followers that way. And when I was searching for Matrix videos, this same guy kept coming up over and over and over and over again. And the weird part was it wasn't from the same channel. It was like the same dude's video on multiple channels. So it turns out, this guy's like some like one of these, he's like all over the place, like a dating coach and like a money coach and like all this crap at once. And it's like, well, what does that have to do with the Matrix? Oh, that's right. Absolutely nothing. But because they tag all the videos with Matrix, because he calls himself Morpheus or some garbage, when I'm searching for Matrix videos, all his videos come up. So it's just frustrating, because that's so not what the movie's about. But then I remembered,
that's not right.
Yeah, it's not right. It's just wrong. It's not cool at all. But I remembered, when I started this channel, or one of the reasons why I started this channel is because a similar thing was happening 3 years ago, but it wasn't this guy. It was the QAnon crowd. So it's funny, like he basically kind of replaced them in the YouTube space of Matrix grifting. And actually, shout out to YouTube, CoffeeZilla. He did a video on him. I think it's his last video. So it was just funny to me that like this other YouTuber exposed his scam at the same time that the algorithm was showing it to me. But that's what that tweet was about, basically. My frustration in that moment with finding this content that was claiming the Matrix and claiming Morpheus, but had absolutely nothing to do with any of it, and was totally not in the spirit of it, especially like when you understand how his scam works.
What you see depends mainly on what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, the guy's got a lot of followers, so if you're making money with him and his system is working, congratulations. Um,
Yeah, with this whole Matrix thing, a couple of years ago, I started to like look on Facebook for just Matrix groups just to, talk in, hang out in. And a lot of it was like government and media control. And I'm like, that's not the kind of Matrix I'm looking for, which would be like a real life version of it. But I was just interested in Neo at that point, looking for stuff like that.
It's
And
just one
yeah, but
damn thing after another.
damn right it is. But it's just everywhere, and it's what you have to sift through to find what you're looking for.
yeah, and that's why it's so frustrating for me, because when I'm like searching for actual Matrix content, and that's all that's coming up, it's just like such a waste. Oh right. Well, Odd One says, rest in peace, Mary Alice. And Matrix Remix says, if you only know Mary Alice from the Matrix, check out To Sleep with Anger. Yeah, I did see your post in the Matrix University Discord, and I am going to check that out. I don't know what platform it's on. Oh, right. That's what I forgot to say. So I'm glad you said that, because I was watching The Offer. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's on Paramount Plus, which is kind of like an obscure streaming service, it seems like, compared to Disney Plus, for example, or HBO Max, Netflix, whatever. But The Offer is basically a mini series about the making of The Godfather. So if you're into The Godfather or mob movies, it was very well written. I'm like, I wish I had a team of writers that wrote this, because they were really good. But yeah, I meant to bring it up when we were talking about the HBO Max and the Batgirl stuff, because what I didn't know, what I learned watching that series, spoiler alert, Francis Ford Coppola, he was the director of The Godfather and co-writer, because the other writer was the novelist who wrote the book that the movie's based on. And the main reason why Francis Ford Coppola signed on to direct The Godfather, because originally he didn't want to do it, but the reason why he signed on is because he owed Warner Brothers like $400,000. So he needed the money. That's why he did it. But I just thought it was interesting, because I'm like, man, like Warner Brothers has been on their lawsuit game. I mean, that was the late 60s. So, when it comes to their paper, they don't play. They got a track record of their legal team getting wins for them. So
I think you understand.
yeah, I picked up on that loud and clear. Especially when they claim all the popular videos on this channel.
Yeah, and that studio, Paramount, was going through a lot at the time. They were just about ready to sell. And they were having a rough go, and The Godfather kind of was like the second movie that was a big hit that kind of brought them out of their funk.
Yeah, no, like you said, I mean, that, and I can't remember the title of the other movie, basically like saved the company at the time.
It was the Chinatown or something.
Right? Yeah.
But The Godfather really propelled them, and yeah, that was a really good series. I enjoyed it. I like the guy that played Bob Evans.
Oh, you did watch it? That's awesome. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, it's cast really well. Like I said, the writing was outstanding. I thought his secretary, Betty, was very believable. I believed her role. I'm trying to remember who else was in it now. You got me thinking about it. And what was really cool to me was, on a personal note, like I watched The Godfather and The Godfather 2 I want to say like a week before I even heard about that series. So it was like, oh, I have to watch this now. But I hadn't seen those since I was like a teenager. So to watch it with fresh eyes as an adult and then see this fictional drama about how it was made was just really cool timing. Just going through the comments here to see. Oh, the odd one says Mary Alice was also good in Awakenings with Robin Williams. Yeah, good call. I haven't seen that in a long time.
You
Another good
only
movie.
live once, but if you do it right, once is enough.
And yeah,
Oh.
also, I want to just put it back out there. Rest in power to Mary Alice. She did live a long life and had a very wonderful career. So she will be missed.
Thank you.
Now, Joker Scarface, that was Brian De Palma, right? Now that's still that wave of, what did they call them? Was it the new directors or new Hollywood? It was like the 70s version of the Brat Pack of directors. It was like Francis Ford Coppola and Martin Scorsese and Brian De Palma, and I'm trying to remember who else is considered part of that group. Yeah.
Sachi, dear, put the sun back where it goes.
Yeah, Scarface is another instant classic. But back to the Matrix universe. Oh, yep. It looks like the Oracle is jacking out. But we will hear from Morpheus briefly.
I'll make the predictions around here.
You hit me with the pump fake. I mean, I saw the discs and the code stream. Anybody who plays the Matrix Online knows what that is.
If it's time to sign out, I want to thank you for having me on the show once again. Looking forward to the next one. It was sad news to hear about the passing of Mary Alice, and it makes Niobe's words in Resurrections a little more chill now when she said, we got one last word from the Oracle of a new power rising, or we got word from the Oracle of a new power rising, and that was the last we heard from her. Those words were on my mind too when I heard the news. So as you say, rest in power, and we wanted to have this as a tribute, as a memorial, as to show off some of the voice work she did that didn't get a lot of exposure, and I hope that this was tasteful and respectful because we meant it with the utmost respect of bringing the Oracle's shell back one more time to say goodbye. I think she's got a farewell message when you're ready.
Well said, well said. You can go ahead and share that. Hold on, let me make sure the music is low here. All right, go ahead.
Take care of yourself. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Hope has only just begun to take root, dear. Might need a little water now and then. Life's too short. That's not a prediction. You take care. Be careful. I'll see you next time. That's it. Goodbye.
Well, thank you for that great advice, and thank you for joining us. As Sion said, we meant all of this with the utmost respect, and we do hope it was well received by you and the Matrix community and any potential family or loved ones of Mary Alice personally. Vesuvius, is there anything you wanted to share? Is there any projects you've got upcoming? I mean, we know you had your hands on that simulation theory, so when we hit that 6K, we'll share that. But is you cooking anything else over there?
No, I've got the stove on simmer right now. Just working on some real life things during the summer. I tell you, in New York, we're having great weather. I'm probably gonna jinx it, but it's been warm with a nice breeze just about every day I've been outside. So very happy with that. The other thing I'll I'll acknowledge was just a few days ago we had the 13th anniversary of the closing of the Matrix Online game.
Oh
It was
wow.
it was a very sad day. I put together a couple of edits and some little videos to remember that time. And I think I don't know what hit harder, the actual closing or the email saying that it would be closed on July 31st, 2009. So yeah, not all memories are good, but it's good to remember.
Yeah, no, I remember, the meat wad and the wake up message. And that's actually, yeah, the meat wad kind of hurt, but when the last thing that the game said was wake up, that I don't know, for some reason that made it not hurt as bad. It made it feel a little better. Just kind of ending in the spirit of the Matrix, if you will.
And we had $14.99 a month to spend on whatever the hell we wanted to instead of our addiction to the Matrix Online. That was
Dude,
the only.
I'll trade that $15 a month for what I got going on over here right now.
It's been nothing but cocaine and hookers ever since.
Right. Well, that's definitely a Wachowski quote. But what? Oh, well, if we're gonna do it, if you're gonna say it, should I share my addiction? I don't know. We've been saying goodbyes for like 5 minutes, but I got some more goodies.
More goodies.
Oh
You
yeah, I mean
tell.
you guys saw the big stuff. You saw the glitch head. That was like the last thing I shared with you, right?
Yeah.
All right. So nothing that big, but
Is it the Batman thing?
I did not get the what. Yeah, I think Tinker was talking about that. They got, what is it? The Batarang.
Batarangs now, yeah.
Yeah. No, I only have Matrix NFTs.
Well,
But,
I saw a shark. Did you get a shark from Shark
I
Week?
got Shark Week. I got a Shark Week drop. You didn't get one of these?
I don't think so.
Double check. I think these. I thought they dropped this to everybody who was active on the Discord. Because I don't remember doing anything specific to get it.
I haven't been active on Discord, I think, since
Okay.
since that last event. Mission 2 wrapped. I've just been a little busy, and I'm glad to sit and talk Matrix again. But I'll be logging into Nifty's right now to check for the shark, and this will be the first time logging in since Mission 2.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, well, you haven't missed a whole lot, but I don't think.
I didn't think so.
Yeah. Well, okay, so maybe I might have been in like the stages that they talked about this, and maybe that's how I got it. I don't know how I got it. It was just in my account one day. So I'm not mad about a free NFT. Nifty's one thing they do well is give out free stuff. Where is she? Okay, right. So I'm on this like agent kick. I don't know. I just got a lot of agent looking NFTs all of a sudden. But right, these two. She's got the gold gun here, and he is my first and only gold katana. These are
Nice.
like way harder to get than they should be. But I was definitely excited because I got them like the same owner sold them to me, so it was almost like I don't want to say 2 for 1, but this is a nice price for both gold accessories there. So those are the most recent. But yeah, I got this like whole like agent thing. That's what I meant by like my addiction. Like this. Well, these aren't with the red tie. I'm calling these guys the Syndicate. I don't know if you ever saw Cowboy Bebop, but in the live action series they had on these like black suits and red ties. So I'm like collecting the Syndicate now. I'm trying to think. Right, she's new. But I know I got more Syndicate here. All right, there. This one with the katana. All right, and then Sabina, she's another 3D glasses here. So yeah, the collection has gotten quite robust. Right, there's a Mohawk here. Those are pretty rare. The dual SMGs. Actually, this guy, it took me a while to get this one off his owner. His owner was not giving him up, and rightfully so. But eventually he caved and has joined us here.
He has joined the party.
Yeah. And no, it's getting pretty deep here. Yeah, this is definitely Agent Gill. This is the leader of the syndicate right now. Actually, no, I'm lying. He's not the leader of the syndicate. I would call this guy the leader of the syndicate, even though he doesn't have the suit on. He's got the long, vicious white hair.
Yeah, he
So,
looks like a bodyguard.
yeah, I'm gonna call him Vicious 2.0 for anybody who watched the Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, and real quick here, that's what I was saying. The odd one, you're gonna have to go watch the playback, but pretty much everything you're saying is what I was saying. I was definitely excited to see Keaton, and now it looks like we're not gonna be able to see it. I do hope that somebody leaks it. Like that would be like the dopest thing ever right now. But yeah, I don't even count anymore. I don't know how many I have. And obviously there's collectors that have way more than me. And from what I can tell, if this Ethereum thing does well, it will invite some new whales. So there's that too. But yeah, if you are interested in winning a free NFT, we're doing one more giveaway, and that is posted on the community tab of this YouTube channel. It's also posted on the announcements channel in Matrix University. So you can click the link in the description and join us over there. Vesuvius, Scion, and I are all over there as well. And all the stuff, like all the news that we talked about, the passing of Mary Alice, the John Gata LinkedIn screenshot, we share all that kind of stuff in real time. So when we do get little bits and pieces of information, for those of you who saw what I did there, you definitely should be joining us over at Matrix University. Again, the link is in the description. It is always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. And on that note, class is dismissed.